Okay, this is Brian again with ECC Auto, and today we're going to talk about doing a top-end cleaning on our 95 Jeep Cherokee that had the compression problem in the exhaust valve on cylinder number 1 that we did the power balance test on. So in order to do the top-end cleaning, I need to warm up the vehicle, get operating temperature, shut it off. Once it's shut off, we're going to use a chemical cleaner, in this case made by Streamline, and that's going to be deposited through an IV drip. Right here, an IV drip. So this is going to be filled up with a cleaner. Has a little valve here so I can control the flow. It's going to be able to use the Venturi effect to pull air in to mix with it. And this is going to go into my intake system. So I'm going to use a little hose right here to adapt to my intake. And I want to find a spot on my intake that's right next to my throttle body. In this case, I've already looked at the spot. I'm going to go disconnect my brake booster hose and go there because that's a good central vacuum port. So I'm going to get an even distribution to all of my cylinders. The other part of this is I'm going to use an in-tank cleaner, also made by Streamline. And the in-tank cleaner is going to go in the tank. So I'm going to clean today, but this is also going to help clean out my injectors. It's also going to help clean the carbon deposits and go out. So when I'm using a carbon cleaner, it's really important that I use one that dissolves the carbon, not break it loose. So if I put water in here, I could break the carbon loose, but then the carbon is going to end up in my catalytic converter and plug my catalytic converter up. So I need to use a chemical that's safe for my catalytic converter, but it's actually going to dissolve the carbon. So I want to feed this in very slow. It's going to take me about 45 minutes or so in order to feed this entire bottle content through here into the engine in order to clean the carbon. I like the Streamline product. I've used it for years, and I've gotten verified test results with it. There's a lot of other top-end cleaners on the market. I have not tested those. I have tested this one. I know it works, so that's what I'll be using on this vehicle. So let's go ahead and get this started up, warmed up. I'll get this hooked up, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, now that I got my drip hooked up to the vehicle, as you just saw, and I have it full of fluid, I'm ready to start the vehicle, then I'll adjust the drip. So when I start the vehicle, I don't want to just let it sit here and idle, and that's for two reasons. One, this truck's misfire and idle, I'll damage the catalytic converter. The other thing is I always want to elevate my RPM up to about 1800 RPM and hold it there for the entire time I'm doing this drip. So the best way to do that is by using a throttle stick. So this is real simple. This is going to go around my steering wheel. This goes on my gas pedal, and I can adjust this and it'll hold the position that I want, and it'll hold that RPM. That doesn't mean I can just leave the vehicle. I need to stay around the area here in case something goes wrong, in case this either falls off or the engine starts to rev up. I need to be able to quickly grab it so I don't do any damage. But I don't have to sit in the car for 45 minutes and hold the throttle. So let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to get it up, bring my RPM up, and then I will adjust my drip for the proper drip setting. And we'll see it drip right inside here. And I want a nice steady drip. I don't want a stream. I want a drip, 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 drip. Nice steady drip. If I drip it too fast, it doesn't give a chance for it to properly aerate. And if it doesn't properly aerate, it won't atomize in the intake, and it won't attach itself to the carbon and dissolve the carbon. What it'll go is it'll go through as a liquid, which will break off some of the carbon, but it's really not going to give me an effective clean, and I might damage something doing that. If I feed it really fast, I can actually feed liquid into the cylinder, hydrolock the cylinder, and now I need an engine, so we definitely don't want that. So this is one of those things that slower is actually better. If you do this in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you did it wrong. You're not going to get the correct cleaning results. And I've proven this time and time again where I've used NOx emissions, carbon deposits, and actually watched lambda change because carbon affects lambda. I can prove the amount of carbon I'm actually removing by doing gas analysis before and after the carbon cleaning. And that's how I know that this chemical works real well for me. I can also tell what the correct speed is to actually remove carbon. I've also pulled spark plugs back out, looked at bore scopes, looked at things before and after to see exactly how much carbon is being removed, both from a visual standpoint and also how it affects my lambda and my mixture. So I've done a lot of research on this, spent a lot of time, and so that's why I say 30 to 45 minutes is what I'm looking for. Sometimes if I have a car that's real finicky, it may take an hour. Again, patience is key here. My engine seems right about 2,000 RPM. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to adjust the drip. We can see right now it's dripping some. I'm going to give it just a little bit more. And that's looking right about perfect. So I'm done for now. I just need to sit here, watch this, wait till all this fluid goes through, and that way it has had a chance to get in there and do its job and see if we can get rid of some of this carbon. After that, I'm going to want to go for a test drive. Okay, so one of the things I want to point out here is there's no smoke coming out the tailpipe. Now I can smell a little bit of cleaner, which is normal, but there's no smoke. So even if I look across here and go this angle, you can see there's no smoke. If I have smoke coming out of the tailpipe when I'm doing my top end clean, I'm feeding the chemical in too fast. I should not have any smoke coming out. If smoke's coming out, that's chemical that has not been burned. That can damage my catalytic converter, as well as I'm wasting money out the tailpipe that I really want to have inside the engine doing its work. Okay, so we just finished our drip. It's no longer dripping, so let me take it off the stick. And I'm off the stick. I still need to go for a test drive, but what I can tell you is I'm now running on 6 cylinders again. I can totally feel the difference on how this engine runs. It's no longer missing. I don't feel the miss I was feeling before that we had a hard time picking up. So time to go for a test drive, get this thing cleaned out, and hopefully we don't need to take the head off. Hopefully you learn about not only about how to do a top end clean, we were dripping for about an hour here, but also, more importantly, how to do it correctly, use the chemical, and that we're actually dissolving the carbon, not trying to beat it out of there by feeding it through in 10 minutes and smoking the heck out of the shop. You saw when I showed you the tailpipe, there's no smoke coming out. Yeah, also when I showed you how fast the drip is going, you can see it's a fast drip, not too fast and not a constant stream. We don't want to load it up. And you're going to need to adjust that drip periodically depending on how full this is. Because when it's full, I have a lot more weight helping push it through. As it starts getting empty, I need to slowly open the valve a little bit more to keep the drip at a constant rate. Okay, I just got back from my test drive. It is still running on all 6 cylinders. I got some cleaner in the tank, so hopefully it'll stay that way. We'll be able to get some more mileage out of this engine. It already has over 175K on it. Hopefully we bought some more time before we need to take this engine apart. So thank you for watching today, and hopefully you learned a few things about top end engine cleaning.